to Mighty Filmmakers Podcast, Raindance Film Festival episodes. My name is Asatuurs.
My name is Josh.
And today we are dissecting another filmmaker, cinematographer this time. And we'll be talking about 5 steps of filmmaking of Zoran Veljković. Is that right?
Wow, that's spot on.
Spot on. Oh, great. Yes, I'm learning.
I'm not used to someone pronouncing my name properly like that. So
I think that's one of the trickier names we've had, and there was the one you did the best, I think.
Yes,
yesterday you're struggling with,
struggling with all of the names.
Yeah.
Wow. With all the names. Thank you for joining us today, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation because somehow I had a chance to work with you a little bit as well, and it was great, and you teaching as well, and you are the person who not only makes good films, but is teaching young generation of filmmakers as well, so that's great.
Yeah, it's just going to be one of those conversations where 2 cinematographers just have a really nice chat, and I'm just sat here watching on. Drink.
You get a drink, okay?
Okay, yeah, I'll do that, yeah.
No, I'm sure it's not going to be the case. Okay, so could you please introduce yourself to all of our listeners?
Oh dear, my name is Zoran, as you said, and cinematographer. I've been doing this for kind of 40 years, I guess, by now. Had a decent education in cinematography, 4 years in Eastern Europe, and then came here to shoot a film in Pinewood, and then stayed, pretty much.
Somehow that happens to so many people.
Yeah, well, it did help that the war started back in Yugoslavia when I was here. So like, well, I can't shoot people, but I can shoot films. So I stayed with that.
That situation is slightly different, though. Yeah, if that's the reason as well.
How did you find it here? Like in terms of, did you have much experience back home before you came here? And was there like a big difference between the way things were done?
I shot quite a few things there. I shot my first feature back there, and then I came here. So there was no difference whatsoever. The same equipment, same everything. I know in Palm we're talking to people ordering lights and everything. So like, what you've got there? Well, the same things, So pretty much filmmaking all around the world is a filmmaking. I found out, and I traveled with this job a lot. I shoot all around the world and work with different crews, and pretty much... apart from equipment, people are similar types. Lighting people are everywhere. Lighting people, grips are, so generally, seriously, I feel at home wherever I work.
It's like, you know what specific food is going to be good for lighting people, for example. What they're going to wear, for example, as well. Do you know, I noticed that cinematographers usually are wearing hats.
You said this before, like baseball caps.
Yes. Yeah. Do you wear a hat?
No, Panama hat. That's my usually because it just makes a shell a bit bigger. I'm not a big fan of a sun, being exposed to sun actually. So I was that comes from my youth days. I was shooting in Dominican Republic, and then for a month we were shooting out, and I managed to burn my skin so badly, especially neck, because when you bend over the camera. Shooting, the baseball hat cannot really protect that, and then I had after that I said So next shoot in India, I had Panama hat, and I'm back in business now.
You were prepped. What film are you with at Raindance Film Festival this time?
All right. Oh well, this year is Film Row, which we shot in north of Scotland. And it's a world premiere, so it was premiered the other day, and now we're still riding on that wave.
Nice one. What would you say, how does your cinematic process begin when you receive a script or when you speak to director for the first time? So what would you say you do next?
Well, first of all, once I read the script, if script talks to me, it's a key thing. And I found out that for all these years doing it, whatever I do, it's not rational decisions. I learned to trust my gut feeling, and if I feel gonna be right, doesn't really, for me personally, doesn't matter is director experienced or not, or any other kind of attribute of that. It's just our first communication, if we talk on the same kind of, if we're on the same page, then I'm in.
When you say like trusting your gut and the story speaks to you, have you found, looking back, that there are similarities between those stories?
No. The one thing I discovered about my character, I'm a person who would really like next film to be completely different than the previous. And I remember when I came to UK first and trying to find out, first of all, apart from learning a bit of English because I spoke French before, how to go about the business. And some producers told me, "Oh, you are DOP, you kind of make your own lighting, and then they put it in the showreel, and when we need that lighting, we hire you." And I said, "Well, I can't work like that. I can't really repeat myself. I'd really like to do something new, bigger challenge." She said, "Oh, it doesn't work like that here." So yeah, I had no chance to do anything else but what I believe in.
So what would you say now? Is it a good choice to try and build sort of a full-on portfolio consisting of almost every single genre, or it's better for a cinematographer to actually be focused on something specific?
I don't know. It's the honest answer, because generally you do what you believe in. The one thing is you have to find out your own path, but whoever you are. And I found out that my kind of driving force is creativity. People usually, whenever you say, "Oh, I'm just involved in this movie," and they say, "Oh, what's the budget?" That's the first question. I say, "I don't know. I don't care." Creativity, you can't put budget on creativity. It doesn't really matter how much money you've got to spend. You can creatively create something amazing regardless.
That's the first step, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you can't put budget on creativity, or maybe you how else we could say that?
Some proper English, I guess.
You can't put a price on creativity.
That's not here as well. So, I speak
There's that pressure on me to
that's
produce
pressure.
that.
100%, it's all on you here.
Yeah, you can't put a price on creativity, maybe.
Yep.
Can't put the price on creativity. Let's put it as the step number 1. Price and creativity. Okay, so when you realize, what I'm wondering as well, when you read the script and let's say you like it, do you ever consider if in this like technicality of the story, or you don't, or you work it out as it comes?
Well, I do consider technicality. How because as cinematographer, your job is to make it happen. Director tells you what they dreams are, what they want to achieve. You have to make it visual and visible to them. Apart from creatively staying on that path, you have to make sure that technically you deliver it and the otherwise stays in your head.
How do you do it?
Well, take it apart. I believe that the most important part in the filmmaking is a prep, especially for cinematographers. So generally, if I just go and shoot, I would shoot one film. If I spend a month prepping it, I would shoot another film. If I spend 3 years prepping it, like for The Row, for example, then you shoot something completely different.
Is there anything specific you want from the director during that process?
Not really. I mean, I worked with all sorts of different directors, very different. And I try to sense how they operate. Some directors really want everything in detail. Some of them, I worked with the known directors who do not really want to know what I'm doing. So the director saying, "I have no idea what you're doing. How are you going to make it? This is what I want. Just go and make it."
Just go and make it.
You make it sound very easy.
Well, it's I guess it comes maybe with the years or decades of experience, because I remember once on the shoot, I was operating camera on the track, and I did I did the track from the street looking into the apartment, going across the table with different things, and then finding in the reflection of the mirror the actors in the background, and we did 3 takes. And a camera assistant came to me and said, like, this is not fair. I said, what do you mean? You make it look so easy. I said, like, yeah, I mean, like riding a bike. First time you break your nose, you learn something, and then, after a while, your hands are free.
So you mentioned like preparation and how important that is for you. Is there any sort of specific part of the process that you focus on most in terms of preparation?
Well, I think the creative preparation is a key. I mean, once we figure out what we want to do exactly, then I can then do it. But sometimes technical side influence that. So I usually do a lot of tests for directors. Because talking to some directors, like, oh, what do you think about this? Oh, that never works. I said, well, never works is you've seen those things badly done. But the which are properly done, you haven't seen, you couldn't notify them. So let me show you something. And just then I do a test, and then we discuss it and move it forward. So
That's for sure. Step number 2 is a test shoot. So it's a good tool. And very often test shoots are carried out for the sake of lensing, lighting, and so on. But actually, yes, you're right. Sometimes maybe cinematographers forget about directors, and that actually test shoots can be much more useful to directors than even cinematographers.
Oh, yeah. But that's the thing. You are shooting this film for director, whatever it is. And at the end of the day, if I suggest something and director wants something opposite, I'll do opposite the best I can. Because you're not making you are a service at the end of the day.
How do you kind of cross over that line? How do you insert yourself in situations where it's clearly not your style, not your approach, kind of not your type of shot, for example?
Well, that haven't happened yet for the last 40 years. So generally, if you are chosen by director, means you talk the same language. They want you to deliver what you can, what they've seen from you. So rarely, it's completely different, and then I have to do it. It rarely happens. I mean, usually now directors, mainly when we discuss something, and I ask, oh, what do you want? Do you want this or that? They usually ask, what's your opinion? And then you just give them your opinion. Because I worked with different directors. They're the only one who they never worked with other directors. So at the end of the day, I combine all that experience from I learn from them immensely, and then I can then forward that to the new project.
Okay, we're both too polite. So you say you haven't had like a lot of friction with directors because they've like chosen you, kind of thing. Have you ever had difficult situations with any collaborators during the sort of creative process?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we are humans, Humans, we do things sometimes under pressure. People crack.
Yeah. So how would you, what sort of processes do you go through to try and manage those situations?
This is very personal. It's like the one situation where I had a very difficult director because he was under such a pressure. It's not nothing else, but just I couldn't handle it. I kind of figured out then if I in my mind only address the director as a child, and they said, of course, yeah, it's going to be fine, but then what you have to do to make it right, because at the end, if you do it like that, it won't be right. So then at the end, everything is fine. But just generally, I try not to be affected. I'm solely focused on my job, and that is for me. That's interesting. Like in India, I was on a shoot and I was staying with director and producer, and evenings they said, "Oh, shall we go for a dinner?" I said, "No, I want to sleep. I want in the morning to wake up and be on the set, 100%." And then after a while, producer said, "Geez, I never met someone who actually is so focused on and any question they ask about, because I'm kind of more experienced, I always say, what's the best for the film, for the final result? That is ultimate kind of decision making. And once you got that, we're going to have a good film. If we make a good decision for ourselves and film is not good, what's the point? We can go home."
It's kind of putting ego aside and focusing on the project.
100%.
Is it the step? I guess it could be
Yeah.
one of the steps of focusing on the film.
Yeah, focus on the film.
And putting everything else aside. Yeah, let's make it a step number 3. It goes on our whiteboard here behind the scenes.
We didn't have the whiteboard for the first one we did, and we were like scrambling around trying to remember what these 5 steps we came up with was.
It was a disaster.
Yeah.
We can always start again, you know.
That's true.
Yeah, the first thing Zoran said was, "Why are you crossing the line here in this setup?"
No. It wasn't why. There was never a question. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know. We are crossing the line.
That's good.
We're trying to interrogate you, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it works out. So if somebody wants to tell us that we shouldn't be crossing the line.
Can I just mention something regarding the line? Because there's so many young directors, they're bogged with so many rules and all that. And sometimes we go on a shoot and say, what do you mean crossing? So like, no, forget the line. It's just sometimes you have to cross the line in order to surprise the audience and to make things particular way. So then I go into 7 rules of when you can cross and when you have to cross it in order to make it better than it was, etc. So it wasn't a question.
But that's the great thing about rules, right? Because like, if you understand them, then it's like great to break them and you can use that effectively.
Absolutely.
How effective this is going to be, I don't know. but we'll see.
We shall find out, yeah.
Yeah, we will. So, okay, in terms of your collaboration, so you say, I have to say, I'm kind of getting that feel that to you specifically, it's quite an interesting one, because I think a lot of directors, they know your experience, and as soon as you click, I think they rely on you quite a bit. What would you say? What do you think? How differs this experience of cinematography differs for young cinematographers and kind of a bit older cinematographers with more experience? Would you say there is a difference in collaboration or there isn't? And how do you see that?
I think the only difference is that us older ones, we're going to die sooner. So pretty much the rest is the same. Cinematography is cinematography. You do what you do. And I never knew when I was younger, am I good at this? Or I like doing it, but just like whatever happened. And you have to trust yourself. That's a bottom line. I mean, anything you learn going to be limiting at first. So you're going to go by those rules and try to kind of do things by whatever formula is. Unfortunately, that's just a guidance. That's just direction. You have to trust yourself. You absolutely. If you want to break the rules, just go for it. There's no other. So generally, experience is just it doesn't really. And working with young directors, like I have directors, first-time directors approaching me, and we discuss it, and then I say straight away, I'm interested. So are you sure? Because just like they expect it's going to be some kind of so no. I feel your creativity matches my creativity. We can do something together extraordinary. And that's what happened with the first 2 films we did with this woman, just like gone really, really well. So,
would you say that like with more experience, you've learned to trust yourself more and your instincts more?
That's actually very, very well put together. Thank you.
Is it the 4th step about trusting yourself and your instincts? And to be fair, it's very important, especially for young cinematographers, I think, because, there's always kind of this understanding of a secret, we're searching for that secret. Even this podcast, we are actually searching for that secret. 5 steps. So what do we do? Tell us, Zoran. What do we do? How do we make it work? So it's always people searching for something, and sometimes that's all you need is just what you said, that just trust yourself. And trust your instincts.
Yeah, I think that's like great advice for life as well, not just filmmaking.
Cinema is life.
That is very true.
We try to recreate life. We try to make things, and so many times when we do something, and I just tweak something, some younger directors say, "Oh, but no one will see that." So no, they will see it. They won't be aware they've seen it, but your brain is actually reacting to it. And you can people which are watching the scene in the film, and suddenly they don't believe it. Like something is, not right. And then when asking, oh, maybe performance, and maybe that light in the back is actually not representing light coming through the window, right, hitting the person. You can feel the lamp outside. So your brain is dealing with reality 100% every day, and you don't know you notice something because from the kind of our animal kind of background, trying to keep us alive. If there is any danger or anything, that originated there, and pretty much you have to kind of find those nuances to make them right. And that is, again, your I call it gut feeling, but just generally something which you cannot break, I think.
What would you say defines correct lighting for the movie? I know how this sounds. I know how. I'll explain why I'm asking.
Yes. Well, it has to look real. And I remember when the Q&A was the other day about the role, and then they asked me about my role in the whole movie, and I told them, well, my job was to make this real, for believable, for people to believe they are on the boat although we are in little tank in parts in the studio, but all those elements. Like, for example, we were shooting outside when it was wind and all that, and once we go inside in the studio to shoot interiors, I set the camera and it doesn't look right. So I just started waving the camera up and down a bit, and suddenly you match the feeling of the being on the boat all the time, this kind of gentle kind of swaying. And that's what we did across the whole film. And my best review of the film was someone said, like, I've been completely fooled if you haven't shot this film on the real sea. If you shot in the studio, just like I bought it.
So you're saying make it believable?
Absolutely.
So would you say that is the profession of cinematographer?
Well, we all we all become professionals by you see, we think we choose our profession. Profession chooses us. At the end of the day, you do why I'm doing that. I studied mechanical engineering 4 years, first of all, because until and during that time I discovered cinematography and film actually, and started making films, and then step by step went into studying another 4 years for cinematography. But then I had no doubts for some reason. It wasn't my choice. I've been chosen to do that, and I still love it like a first day. Every time on the set, I mean, people say, "Oh, what's your biggest achievement?" To be on the set every time and enjoying doing it. That's a blessing.
That's an interesting background to come from mechanical engineering. Is there like anything from that you've taken into cinematography?
A lot. Physics and maths. And I always, when I teach, I just tell guys, light is, a particle and the ray, and you have to understand the physics behind it. When it comes, where it bounces, what it does. So generally, when you are doing your job, you imagine first image. I mean, I discovered I'm able to imagine, for example, we are sitting here, and I can imagine how that's going to look like if it's like a stormy weather outside with the window on the side. I can see images for some reason. And then it's easy to recreate them because I've seen them already in my mind. But if technically I don't know where to put the lights and how to do it, then stays in my mind, and I can have a nightmares at night.
A lot of the time, students, for example, when they start forming these relationships with cinematographers, they are looking for a shortcut. They're always looking for something what would help them to understand, okay, so how do I speak to cinematographer? What do I say? How do I communicate my ideas? In your specific experience, like, what is the quickest and fastest way to communicate their ideas to you specifically as a cinematographer?
Our visuals. We exchange tons of visuals. I always ask them, just send me pictures, drawings, clips from films, paintings, abstract paint. It doesn't matter if you refer to color and structure and all that. It doesn't really matter. Visuals are kind of key for me. And when I read the script, I've got the emotional feel of the story. And in order to create that, my prep goes, first of all, I just go around and try to search for that same feel by, art exhibitions, watching different films and photographs and all that. And when I feel that is kind of matching, I try to analyze why. For example, abstract painting, like a red canvas with a few lines, I try to analyze, does this give me that feeling because of a position of these lines, because of a color? I try to analyze it then, take it apart, and incorporate into delivering the film.
So you do take quite like a wide range of influences for your projects.
Absolutely, yeah. Just influence could come, or inspiration could come from anywhere. It does. I mean, I know people who actually try to just watch films and to get inspiration. They recreate already recreation, and I can feel the crew behind. I can, when I feel it's not right, not real, I'm out. I can't follow.
That's an interesting one, because a lot of filmmakers, they do kind of take inspiration from films, and very often we can see that some films are the kind of source material almost to build their own sort of creative work. Would you say, so in your opinion, you go more for different type of art and then recreate it or apply some of it? So it's like cross-media type of approach? Or you are looking at movies as well and taking some inspirations?
I'm looking at movies, definitely. There's no, but what I'm saying, the other art comes from life. And generally, I'm after life. I'm after a real, how to recreate something to be believable, inspiring, etc. All those things. So yeah, mixture of everything. I'm not excluding films, far from that.
And how far are you in the process? So you are in pre-production, of course, you film, and then you hand over your rushes, and what's happening then? Are you out of the picture, or you are one of those cinematographers who actually is sticking there until color grade is done, until kind of final DCP is on the screen?
Description of my job is I have to deliver the picture, so I can't be out. I mean, that's like a half. You have baked something and then you walk out of the kitchen. There's no way. You have to finish it and put the glazing on it and do all that. So generally, I'm because of my experience, people ask me, and I usually tell them, when you're editing, do not ask me until you've got almost finished, so I can give you proper feedback. But then I have to be at the grading and I have to sign off the grade. That's a because in the otherwise you make film in grading pretty much.
Have you ever allowed anyone to grade without your knowledge and put out the piece of work?
No, but that happened once when it was tough.
I can guess you didn't enjoy the result that much.
No, because it's your signature, whatever you do, and you know what you shot and how you shot in order to finish it in post. Like if I do any effect, I do it 50%. I do it halfway. So if something ought to be dark, I go halfway down. If ought to be like a blue, I do halfway as well. So in post, you finish and you got a room for maneuver. But if people don't know that, like for example, in that particular film, there is a night scene where two people wake up in the bed, and the phone rings and they hear terrible news that some mother died, and they've got so at the end, I just put a really really light blue wash from the side from the window, and they're all in the shade, and then the whole thing is happening because they ought to be dark. It's the whole drama is there, and then the grading was the grader put those lights like a sunlight outside, like a backlight, and it's just like, Jesus, look, where are they? This is not right. So anyhow, I cried a bit and then I get over it.
Yeah, I guess that's really true, because when people watch a film, generally they're thinking, oh, the cinematographer made it look like that. They're not thinking, oh, there was a color grader or an editor and all this kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, but cinematographer is making it with color grader like that.
Yeah,
that's bottom. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you have to be delivering the pictures to the director the way you both intended. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is nothing to do with 5 Steps, but knowing that you started your filmmaking quite a while ago, I wanted to ask you, do you remember your first film, and what equipment did you film it on? What lighting did you use, and how did it all look like?
When I started, it was a film only. So I used a parabolic 16mm camera, black and white, reversal film. I think it was Kodak or something, what we had then. And it's someone else, director was there. I showed that. I can't remember what I think lights were like a blondes and redheads, whatever was at the time. But then, like 20 years later, somehow the director sent me, transferred that film onto digital and sent me. It's like, do you remember this? And I was watching it, and I was absolutely gobsmacked how good I was then, because without any knowledge, it was just I felt this has to be like this. And then at the end of the day, it's like, my God, I spent all these years learning, and I just about coming to that level now.
So you're saying it's cinematography is talent. Talent is something is a big deal.
I don't know about that, to be honest. It's just like whatever it is. I mean, you have to technically learn things. That's a bottom line in order to, and then that kind of gives you. But it's a dedication. That's all about.
I think that's what it goes back to what you said about trusting yourself, right? Like obviously when you made that first film, you were kind of maybe going more on instinct and how you felt things were, and it just reinforces that point of like trusting yourself, trusting your instincts.
Yeah, I mean, probably later I learned to use that, that kind of original. I mean, not knowing that, but I managed to kind of be whenever director says, "Oh, we can do it like this or like that and like that," to have the same effect, because I've been through all these and they worked. So at the end of the day, knowledge is kind of you're building it slowly.
Zoran, thank you for joining us to this short conversation, but packed with good stuff. And we really hope we'll have a chance at some point to have kind of a longer 2-hour conversation on cinematography at some point here on Mighty Filmmakers. Thank you.
Guys, it was absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for asking right questions. That's bottom line.
Thanks.
Five steps of filmmaking, in my humble opinion, are: can't put price on creativity. Then do as many test shoots as you can. The key is to focus on making a film and put any egos aside. Important thing is trust yourself. Very important. Number 4. The ultimate goal is to make it look believable. That's the bottom line.